And get some, man, it's looked good for a while. Now we got stuff, dirt. I don't know what, I've got to figure out how to get that out of there. It's everywhere. But it looks good. Oh, I'm going to do the Fred Sanford thing for too long. Hey, I'm glad you're back though. You guys are going to help me out. If you watch my videos for very long at all, you'll know that this is my friend's MGA that we're restoring. We've painted it once, had some trouble, repainted it again. Now it looks pretty good, but we have a few thousand imperfections in the clear coat called dirt. I know how I used to always take it out. This is a little special kind of deal. So I think you guys are going to help me this time. And I know, I usually tell you to get your working clothes on, let's get busy, not this time. Right now it'd be a great time to comment below if this is stuff that you've done before, which a lot of you are. Dust nibs, how do you get them out? What do you do? Well, I know how I used to do it, but I'm going to try some different things. This clear coat is in really nice shape. The whole thing doesn't need sanded down. I just need to de-nib the dirt. De-nib it. So I've got 4 ways I'm going to try. We're going to rate the 4 ways. And the best way that I find is how I'm going to do all of it. Sound fair? Welcome back. Junks Automotive. All right, let's get busy. So, looks pretty good, doesn't it? Well, after about 3 or 4 days of sitting, of course that night it looked kind of pebbly. Later in the night I looked and it shined off. The next day it looked amazing. And it still does. But the longer it sat, all that stuff, that paint and clear coat's going to shrink down. Everything finally comes out of it. We don't have any fogginess. If you look in the past videos, we don't have that. Awesome. That's what we wanted. It looks better already. But the problem is, if you look, that right there, that's a dirt nib. There's a couple there, a couple there. You can see them. The light, look at that. Now, the first time I painted this, the whole car, was in the homemade paint booth and all that, and it was quite a bit better. So it's one of those trade-off things. You know, yeah, stuff in the paint. So here's what we're going to do. I want to try 4 different ways and figure out the best way, because what I don't want to do is sand this complete thing down. It looks too nice. So you look at it. This is not a show car, not concourse and all that. We've got back here a little bit of orange peel that I'll take out, or at least knock it down a little bit so it looks a little nicer. There's a little bit over there in my trouble area, but it's still very, very nice for barn shop paint. Here's our 4. 1 right there, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Masking tape, I'm going to mark it. I'm going to rate them, the different ways. Okay. I want to rate them at ease. It's easy to do. How fast I can do it. Is it productive? Is it, you know, that can I do these pretty quick rather than sand the whole thing down? You know, we don't want to cause problems. We had enough problems with this paint. It's too nice to risk. I'd rather, if I have a problem or a funny place, it's one spot, not all of them, right? So we're going to start out with the first one and rate it with a number from 1 to 10 for each one. The one that I think leaves less marks, less removal of clear coat, that's the one, and the speed. So we got to take that into consideration, and then I'll do the rest with all of it. The end of it, I'm going to polish this, just this area, to see what we can see that's left over. Hopefully nothing, but that's part of the process of figuring out what I want to do. So we're going to rate these. The first thing we're going to do, I'm about to show you. Okay. Here's our first one. First you know, I don't know what you want to call it. What I've got here is a piece of 1000. It's the soft back for the sticky back, Velcro type, you know, but it's wet dry 1000 grit. I like 1000 grit because it works pretty quick, and a hard block with a hard block, right? It works pretty quick, but you can polish 1000 grit scratches out of Clearcoat anyhow. We could go even lighter than that, and something with doing this, we're probably going to go back over it again with 2000 or 3000, and it'll really polish out good. But I've got a squirt bottle with some water. It says, but it's not. It's just water. Little squirty, and I'm just going to use this area right here just to do that. So I'm looking at it, just knocking it down. I'm not pushing hard. I'm picking up and get some of that water moved around. All that does is cleans out the sandpaper. If you do this dry, this much, it'll start clogging the paper up and then putting scratches that are bigger than 1000 grit, and that's not what we want. Nice clean towel, brand new microfibers. They're not that expensive and they're handy. So now I can see, here's where my spot was, right there, but I'm also sanding over here and over here. I'm not real sure I like that. Try to go this way. I'm just using the tip of that block right through here. And it's pretty much gone. It's gone enough. Okay. Might even went farther than I really needed to. But I'm going to rate this now. It's a little time consuming. The problem that I don't like is that it sands too big of an area. You wouldn't want to use a soft block doing that, because you go around and knock that nib off and still be there, and you're wearing out the paint and clear coat on the other side. So I'm going to give it, what do you think? Comment below. Or, sorry, down there. What's this first one? I'm going to give it, to be honest, I'm going to give it a 2. 2 out of 10 because of the area that it takes. We get set up on the next one. I'll pull you back up. Number 2. Rating of 2. I'll put block on there. The next spot is right there. You can see it. Here's what I did. Took a paint mixer stick. I just scored it with a razor blade and snapped it off. Took the same kind of 1000 grit paper, taped it on the back, got it nice and tight, and just that way I'm trying to keep the surface small as I can. You notice that this stick is curved. Well, the outside radius is where the sandpaper is, so I can just hit that nib as best as possible. It's kind of my goal. Okay. Just use scissors, cut the paper down like I wanted. So there's a time factor there that I spent to make that, and that'll probably do a whole lot of de-nibbing. We'll do a little bit of water. I'll get my finger on there so I can see it. Gonna do the same thing. Really can't see it, so I really can't feel it either. Okay. You can see it still sticking out just a little bit. And then really that'd be good enough for the texture of the rest of the paint. All right, we'll call that good. Like I said, I don't want to go too far. I don't want to get into the clear coat. You just see a tiniest little spot there, but I'm going to call that good. Now, again, the smaller sanding patch than this. Had to make the tool. It's not a big deal. It takes a little more time, a little bit more effort. So I'm going to give it, what do you say? I'm going to give it a 4. 4 out of 10. S block. That's a small block. You know, like the Chevy engine. Vroom, vroom. No, kind of. All right. I'm going to get you set up on the next one. Turn you back on. Number 3 spot. There's a bigger one. We're getting a little bit better. This one here. Hopefully you can see that. It's an Audi for sure. I'm going to go with the theory that when you fix a run, Wendell taught me this, razor blade. Nice, sharp, brand new razor blade. And I'm just going to go, I'm going to hold it 90 degrees to the surface of the car, of the body. You don't want to go like this and get to pushing because you're going to dig into the paint. I don't want to do that. I just want to So let's see what that does. Sort of like sandpaper, I'm gonna there's a good thickness of clear on here. So I just don't want to dig into it. I want to shave it. And it knocks it down pretty quick. Because if you wanted a straight hard block, that's about the best thing you're going to find. You just got to be really careful. So I like that, but you can see a little bit of shininess right around where that high spot was. But I'm pretty sure that scuffage around there will buff right out. I don't know that because I would usually sand on top of that. So there you go. I'm gonna give this, it's pretty quick, really. The difficulty of it is a little high, but we'll go with a 5. Okay, blade. All right, now this last one, this is something I have not tried before, but we're gonna try just me and you. All right, number 4. It doesn't look like it. It's actually a little bit, it's about the same size as the rest of them. But this is something I have not tried before and always wanted to, and I have not to this point. You'd think I'd plan ahead and try it for the video first, but no. Got a piece of 1000 grit, same exact paper I've done for the rest of these, right? And I cut it in a strip with a pair of scissors. I'm gonna do this dry. Now I saw this on, I believe, TikTok, something. I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you who the guy was, but I thought, man, that's a neat idea. So what I'm going to do, I can feel it with my finger. We'll put this paper, brand new edge, nice and dry, right there. And I can almost kind of feel it. So I'm going to put a little pressure on it. Looks like I missed it just a little bit, right? You can see it now. I mean, that it's gone. Look at that. Such a small little spot. Now again, it's 1000 grit. That should buff out. In reality, I'd go over it with some 2000 wet, just this whole area. But you know, who knows? So that looks pretty good. What am I going to rate that as? And this is before we buff it, because we're going to buff this little area and see which ones look better. I'm going to give this, as far as ease of doing it, it's fast. There's no water involved, so I'm not making a big mess. I'm going to give it an 8. I'm going to call it slip. So that's the slip method. All right. Let me get you an overall view, and then, I don't know, let's buff this out, see what happens. Number 2 rating, hard block. You know, I'm a little worried about this dark spot, but the blade, or excuse me, the small block. The small block's probably better, way better than this by a 4 out of 10. Now the blade, I like the blade because it's pretty accurate and it doesn't take off a lot of material, but as you can see, I could have done it some more, but again, there's the fear of stuff. Rating of 8, the slip method. If you look close enough, you can just barely see, and you really can't, where it was, right? Again, I'm looking for the most efficient way that I can go through and get, you know, that, without sanding the whole entire car. And truth be known, once I get done and de-nib, I may go over this with 3000 and a soft block and then buff the whole thing. But for this testing instance, let's see how that buffs out. And I'm going to use the fine block, or the fine pad, and the fine, like it's a very fine stuff, and just see what happens, right? So I'll take these and move these out of the way so we keep them in order, and I'm just going to buff this, kind of see how it turns out. Let's go. So here's what I decided on. Regular strength rubbing compound by 3M. This is, you know, it's good stuff. It's a little expensive, but I've tried the cheaper stuff. It just doesn't do like you think. Like that. I got my, I believe this is a medium cut pad, waffle pad. Took it out in the garage sink and rinsed it out in hot water and kind of spun it around a little bit. You can squeeze it just like a sponge. That's what it is. And got a little bit of water in it, right? Here's the thing. You don't want to start buffing something dry. You also don't want to load so much compound on it that it slings all over the shop and all over yourself, and it just makes a mess, and you waste compound. So I'm just gonna, couple little dots. That's gonna be it for now. I've got our markers, our number 2 block, the small block, the razor blade and the slip method. Okay, so we can still see kind of how they end up. I'm going to start my buffer. I'm going to put it on 1. Use a variable buffer, right? TCP. Where did I buy this thing from? I'll tell you. Maybe. Yeah, TCP. Okay. As far as their body shop tools and their sandpapers and all that, at least here in the United States, you buy it, you pay for it, it's at your doorstep in 2 days. No problems. And that's what I like about them. Now their paint supplies and products, you know, but buy your tools and your sandpapers and stuff like that. No, they're not paying me to tell you nothing. So we're going to rub it in there. Glide over a little bit. Speed it up a little bit. Blue, light cut pad. Let me spin that off, it's still a little wet. A little moisture is okay, we just don't want slinging water everywhere, you know, that sort of thing. And I'm already seeing a winner, so let me go through the normal process. And we'll talk about it. In conclusion, here's what we got. The big hard block, the small hard block, the razor blade method, and the slip method. Excuse me. Now we're going to use the light and see what's left. Let's start down here. See that? Still see a nib, and you see some fine scratches around it. That's the slip method. Okay? The razor blade method. If you look, see that scratch right there? Little scratch up there, and there's still a nib there. Still something there. Not horrible, but it's there. The small block. Really nothing there. You can see just a little bit of scratches. And it's hard to see. It's actually very good, really. Now the big block, there is nothing there. The orange peel is there. That was around the surrounding everything. It's the same exact, like nobody touched it. So, fortunately or unfortunately, the one that I thought was number 2 is the best way to go in the finished state. The rest of these, like I said, if you went over them with 2,000 or 3,000 grit and then buffed it, you'd probably be close to this. But for ease and quickness, it's the way to go right there. Maybe the little one. Razor blade, I don't like that. It's good for runs. If you get it sags or runs, it's the way to go. But you're going to have to sand on top of it. This right here, I think it works fast. And I'm just not happy with the... You see the little scratches still in there? And the nib is there. The reason is for that is that my finger is not a flat block. It's not. This is too flat. It's not forgiving and it scratches. This, it's a flat block, but it's too, you can't control it as well. That's a flat block. People complain about Durablocks, but the little one right here, you're not bending that. So there you go. So more than likely, what I'll do is go over quickly this whole entire thing, de-nibbing with that and 1000 grit, right? Then I'll go over the whole thing, other than some more orange peel over there that I don't like, and on the trunk, there's a couple spots. We'll get that knocked down best we can. Then we'll go over the whole thing with 2,000 or 3,000 grit, probably both in a soft block, just to scuff it and buff it, just the way you saw me do it. There you go. There you have it. Go back and look at those comments at the beginning of the video. And I know a lot of you guys, and there's a lot of you guys that watch this stuff, that do this all the time. And I appreciate you way more than you'll know, because I've learned from you. So here's the thing. We've all got to be kind of friends a little bit, and I get to know all of you. That's why I comment back. We have little discussions about things, and it's been monumental to me, the things I've learned from the comments in these videos. And what I like is you professional guys, or not even professional, and you've done this 3 or 4 times. You've been through the things that I've gone through with this car, and have something to say, have it to say in this video. The reason I say that is because there's someone like me that's watching videos trying to figure out how to do it. Not to say that they should trust your word as gospel, but get to know you a little bit. It's one thing I don't see is a whole lot of comments between each other, and I'd like to see that. I'd like to see you, boys and girls, commenting between each other on these videos. That's what this is all about, because we're all trying to figure out how to get through something, to do something that we desperately want to do, and we have a barn or a garage or a lean-to or a carport. We've all been there. Even you professional guys, I guarantee at some point you've done this exact same thing as I did. And the reason I know that is because you wouldn't care. And you do. You do care. Man, you care a lot. And I'm so fortunate to have met you and talked to you and learned something from you. I just want everybody else to learn something from you too. Now, they make a tool called a de-nibbing tool. A couple different kinds. I've looked at them. You know, it's basically a thicker razor blade that's stainless steel, really sharp, and it's got rounded edges, so you could just go click, 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 click. Now, are you going to have to sand that after that? I believe so. The moral of the story is there's no quick fixes. It takes work. I don't need this car to be perfect, but I need to be nice. I need it to be nice for Ralph. That's why we've gone through this over and over and over again. If you haven't seen it, you're new to the channel, go back to the playlist, because I'm going to stick it right up here somewhere so you can find out how we got here. Boy, it's been a long road. You want to talk about a basket case? Psh. The parts didn't fit in baskets. They fit in the back of my truck and on my trailer, and 3 or 4 different runs to go get all the parts, and we still have parts to go. It's a whole thing. But very enjoyable, rewarding that we've got here. And I'm super happy that I can take you guys along, test these things out. The best I can tell, nobody does that. Says, hey, look, here's this way, here's that way, here's this way, here's that way. The way that I thought was going to be the best was the worst in the end. It's not too bad. The slip, I like that, right? But seems like it causes more damage. That's fixable. than necessary. All right. So, some cool videos coming out. Again, give me a like, comment, and share it with somebody. It means the world to me. Trust me. If I can make a couple dollars a month, watch one advertisement. One that can be, just watch the one advertisement, go up and get you a sandwich and come back, and I'll be right here. It's okay. That makes a big difference too, because then I have a couple bucks a month that I can buy a new camera. I'm looking at that. New camera. They're not cheap. Buy some tools. Buy some stuff for this 57 Chevy over here, and I know a bunch of you are waiting for me to get back on that. But we've got to get this little green car. We've got to get it done and get it out of here. I sure appreciate you guys coming back. We're going to see you soon in a couple days, one way or another, right? And thanks for coming back. Junks Automotive. Cheers.